Kaiser here, and today I'm back with a new video, which is a 3-pack commission for Naruto, Sasuke, and Jigen from Boruto. And I have to say, this is probably one of the best customs I've done, but it was also the hardest. Not only since I was working on 3 figures, but there were so many things that the client wanted to add in, and there were so many areas where I messed up along the way. But by the end of it, I think I was able to come out with 3 pretty good figures, and since this is my first time making these 3 figures, or these 3 characters, I think I did a pretty good job. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, so with that, let's get into the work in progress. Okay, so when it comes to the work in progress, I'm not going to be going over each figure individually since I think that will take too long. So I'll just be going over all 3 of them at the same time and going over certain differences I made, or I did while making them. Starting with the base figures, the thing I find funny is that all of them come from Hasbro toy lines. So Jigen is a Marvel Legends Charles Xavier, Naruto is a Power Rangers Beast Morphers, and Sasuke is a Star Wars Black Series Han Solo. I just kind of find that funny. When it comes to sculpting and painting, there wasn't exactly too much I did with these figures. For Jigen, it was just a simple repaint. All I did was get some black painter's tape and, you know, maxed off certain areas where the black markings of his karma design would be. And then I went over the figure with a pale skin color spray paint. For Naruto, I did have to sand down the belts in order to get kind of like a seamless look for it, since Naruto does kind of have that long jacket or shirt. After that, I glued it to the body, added some sculpting, sanded that down, and then I could proceed with painting. And I hate painting orange. I'm not sure if it's just the paint I use, but I need to use multiple layers in order to get a solid look, which sucks since another thing the client wanted was for the figures to not like have paint rub. So that was kind of a challenge, but I did manage to get that result. And for Sasuke, for the most part, it's just a straight up repaint of the original body. I showed the client the body and he said that it worked pretty perfectly, so yeah, all I did was a simple repaint. When it comes to other parts of the body that were sculpted, for Jigen it was probably the hardest since, again, the karma design that he wanted has that horn. But all I really did for that was I drilled a hole near the, I think it was the ear, I believe, and I added a wire, and then I gradually sculpted around that wire to get the horn look. And again, I think that came out really well. And then after painting, I think it looked even better. For Sasuke, I can't remember which head I used, but when I sculpted his head, all I really did was sculpt around the face just to get a more Sasuke-like look. And then for the hair, I can't remember which figure I said I did this with, but it's the same process I've used before, where I take strips of paper and glue them to the head, glue and super glue them to make them more durable, and then sculpt around it. But I did leave one of the main hairpiece over his eye. I kept that the same so that I can add in his Sharingan look and you'll be able to see it. And for Naruto, the head comes from a Aquaman toy line, and all I really did was sculpt the hair. there wasn't much. All I really did was sculpt the hair, and I used a technique from Anime Heroes. It was pretty simple. Now, when it comes to some of the other things I did for these figures, that's where some of the problems come in, since when it comes to painting faces, that's kind of where I struggle. But for Sasuke, I think it's probably the best I did. I think it looks the most accurate. For Naruto, at first I went with a smiling look, but the client said that he wanted a more serious Naruto look, so that's what we went with, and I think it came out better. The eyes were probably the hardest thing to paint, since Naruto's eyes, while not being small, aren't exactly big either. And then for Jigen, it was probably the hardest to paint because of all the details that his karma design has, not only on the body, but especially on the head. And don't even get me started on the hands. And speaking of hands, those were pretty simple to do. All I really did was take some Marvel Legends fists that I ordered for Naruto. I added the bandage design. Pretty simple all around. Some other things I did for these figures was Sasuke's vest, which I made out of a simple template, and I didn't glue it to the body, but I wanted to make sure it sticked. For Naruto, there isn't any real fabric on the figure in terms of his outfit, but what I did do was I added some fabric around his arms in order to get more of a seamless look for the figure, and again, it's to avoid paint rub, and I think it came out pretty well. For Jigen, the main part that we had to work with for him was, of course, his giant robe, and we did make one at first, and that came out pretty well, but it did get dirty, so we didn't think it was any good, so we decided to go ahead and make a whole new one, and I think that one came out even better. And for the little belt that he has, we added a strap to it so that it would be able to, clip around his waist like it's supposed to. So yeah, there's not exactly a lot to this figure, well, to these figures I should say, and there are a few more things that I'll be going over when I talk about the figures in general, but this was honestly a pretty fun commission to work on, especially for my first 3-pack, and I think it came out pretty well. So with that, let's get into the general talking point of the... Okay, so about that, while I was editing this video, my phone decided to bug out. So the part of me talking about the figures in general was kind of corrupted, and it won't let me add it into the video, which sucks, but I didn't want to try and go back and record it, especially since I had already sent out the figures. So I decided to just cut straight to the photo shoot. I hope you guys don't have a problem with this. I think it actually works pretty well. Kind of reminds me of how Anime Heroes does his videos. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the photo shoot since I had a lot of fun making it.
I feel like God, I'm a Kage. Whoa, busting my ass, I know off days. Whoa, me, I've been working, I grind from the ground, and now you see my drip is so Kage. Kage. No tell beat Kasame. Never have breaks, no off days. Bitch, my drip hope. Look, boy, I'm a legend, but bound my presence. Don't test me, I'm ready. My drip like Hokage. See you and I, we both had nothing in common. I move like Kakashi, I do shit to bro. Let's go. Young Shinobi from the unknown. Said I gotta show that I'm with it. I got gusto, not tell false. I kill them, we all cut thoughts. Had to put the work in, show them what the work is. Came up from the bottom, now I'm up though. Ayy, stuck up at the trenches, now I'm on my lit shit. Give me serious one punch, what the fuck, ayy. Pass up the race, gotta show them I'm playing when I amp up the stakes. High like a satellite, we can get a scrapping right there. With the team, we can run up the fade. Sold out a young lame, I said one day flex with a team, they love what I say. And when I'm showing up, no one as cold as us, guarantee I'ma go fuck up the game. Kage, running from the bottom to the top place. Young little legend from the village, hit my way. Now they tryna copy like a catchy doing cosplay. Putting into work, got me feeling like Yahweh. Y'all waiting for the Messiah with the God play. Y'all better stop, y'all better watch. Came through flooded, come my drip, Hokage,
No